Thank you for joining 507 Garage. In this episode, I recap a little bit of what was done to tear down the 3UZ engine. I already tore it down. It's taking me a couple days to actually edit the video, but I will kind of provide some footage on that so you guys can see what I did. But for the meantime, I will then show you another clip of where we stand now. But for now, let's go back a couple days, or actually last week, so you can see what I did to actually tear down the 3UZ engine. Let's go. All right, so where we are left with right now is just one side or one of the heads removed. It's right there. I underestimated how much work this is gonna be. It's pretty much double the work. So I will have to make hopefully a second, possibly a third video, because I have to still take this side. I'm hoping that when I take this other head off, I can then get the oil pump out finally. But to do so, then I have to flip the motor upside down to get to the oil pan, since the oil pan is attached to the oil pump. Get a lot of those things out, and then hopefully if I can get it all done in one video, I can get then the pistons and rods out of the block. And then at that point, I have pretty much the block and the heads out ready for the machine shop to do their thing. But for the most part, everything that was on it came out. We're gonna be getting billet valve covers. If you remember, the race car 2JZ has billet valve covers that are black. These are gonna be black as well. So the cam covers, I am getting different cam gears as well. So not sure if I'll be running those or if I'll be exposing the cam gears on my setup or not. So yeah, and that's the old intake manifold. We won't need it since we'll be running the Harrop supercharger on this V8, and I'll just have a spare one just for whatever. The nice thing about it is that it won't collect this kind of nonsense. That's one of the things that is kind of ridiculous with how this intake manifold is set up, is that it collects a lot of nonsense here. And then unfortunately the starter is in that spot. My starter, for some reason, as I was taking it out, it came apart in pieces. So it must have been sitting there for a long time, never serviced, and this thing just sat in whichever car, I'm guessing. But just kind of a few key points. To be able to take this cam gear as a two-piece cam gear, you have the top piece or the front piece, and then you have this other piece here. And to take it off, you actually have to remove these bolts in the back, or these bolts in the back, to actually get it to come off and separate. And they, lock in between them two there, as you can see there. So if you have not seen inside of a 3UZ, 1UZ, 2UZ, it's pretty much the same. I have this 3UZ here that is the one that is going to be used for that car. And then I have a 2UZ that is pretty much going to be a reference point if I get lost in the process or need to read a manual or whatever. So this is where we're left off for now. Just letting you know, we'll get back to it tomorrow and go from there. But yeah, all these pieces are going to be cleaned off. And again, the cam gear cover, I'm not sure if I'm going to reuse it or paint it. I know that there's a couple, carbon fiber ones and things like that. I don't know yet. But the valve covers for sure, they're gonna be billet ones. I'm excited for those, as well as excited for the 2-piece cam gear system. I'm gonna be running one that is soon to be released. And then for ignition coils, we're gonna be running PRP's ignition coils. They already have one, a kit made, which has all the harnesses and everything. It makes it a lot easier, so. So now that you're back, engine and store part, block is on the engine stand, and you have parts everywhere. Rotating assembly or crank is on the ground. Main caps, everything that was in the block pretty much is out. Intake manifold, oil pan, the heads, and all the other pieces that make this look like a 3UZ engine harness, things like that. I have parts that I don't care for that I'm not going to use again, so that's why they're kind of laying around. But for the ones that I do need or care about, I have those. That's why the oil pan is there, because I'm going to be using an all-wheel drive oil pan instead of that one. So don't really care for those, and additional pieces that are going to be changed. On this side, I have a 2UZ. This 2UZ was acquired to work with Travis from Elite Manufacturing. That is the brand or the product we're going to be using for supercharging this engine, using a Harrop supercharger. But the reason we had this one is because we worked with Travis from Elite Manufacturing to try to get dimensions for the intake manifold for this throttle body or the throttle body sizing and how everything would connect, as we had some customers that wanted to supercharge their 2UZ engines. Some of them do it for rock climbing. Some of them just wanted to add more power to their UZ engine powered vehicles. So that was done not only to help them be able to do that, but as well as being able to get a elbow that worked a lot better if they use the M1112 supercharger. So this is where we're at. We ended up going to Precision Race Engines out in St. Francis, Minnesota. Talked to Dan. He basically recommended a piston size or diameter of 91.25 millimeters. Not much needs to be done to this block other than the usual cleaning, hot tanking. As you can see, these engine intake manifolds can sometimes serve as a home to wildlife, and in this case, that's what happened. As you can see, as I turn this block around, none of this actually falls. So wildlife was living in this engine at some point. So I'm guessing I'll probably see the same thing on this one. Either it's just debris or wildlife actually gets in there. I don't know, but once you take some of these parts off, they can sometimes fit in there. It just could be just debris, but I mean, you see a lot of other things there and there, like feathers and things like that. But anyways, well, I guess that's not feathers, it's leaves, I guess. But anyways, that is where we're at with this block. Parts should still be arriving in regards of like Elite Manufacturing parts, a lot of other things. Still trying to find the rest of the parts that I need for the Lexus in regards to suspension. So that's where we're at, and waiting on additional parts. So I hope the video ends up being helpful, I guess, or it gives you a little more glimpse into what the teardown of a 3UZ engine looks like. I know there's a ton of videos out there, more detailed than mine in regards of what it looks like to take this engine apart and things like that. So just be on the lookout for more updates on these. I'm trying to stay on top of posting, on top of pretty much everything. So bear with me here. I will try to get a little more consistent in posting on YouTube as well as my other platforms for social media. So please, if you haven't had the chance, we have a TikTok. It's 507 Garage. Check it out. We have our Instagram. So my Leon's account or the business account for 507 Garage, as well as the YouTube channel, which you're on right now. And again, we appreciate the support. We are up to 708 subscribers. So for those that still watch our episodes and haven't subscribed, it will be awesome and helpful if you do hit a like as well and share with other of your friends and people that may be interested in seeing more of our content as we continue to work on getting this new build completed. So additional updates that I want to provide is the update in regards of the 2JZ 335i. This is the 2JZ VVTi intake manifold. So the additional work that will happen with that one, which I'll provide updates, will be basically to install this bracket that allows me to use the bottom piece of the plenum of the GE intake manifold and attach it to this one. That way it's a front-facing manifold, which a lot of people like having. Makes it a lot easier. You don't have that over the valve cover intake manifold that the GEs have, the 2JZ GEs, 1JZ GEs, and things like that. So anyways, I'm rambling a lot. I'll try to have another update pretty soon once we get not only the more of the parts for this engine as they arrive. As you saw already, we also have some fueling support from Nuke Performance, and we will continue to update you on additional support from other sponsors and vendors that support the channel. So again, take a look at our other videos, like and subscribe. And another thing we wanted to say before I forget is the support from Sonic's Tools. They have been supporting the channel with tools for us. We have some new products here. This will be a 26 piece. Let me turn around the camera here. This is a 26 piece impact socket set from them, floodlight, and a Super Duty mini impact wrench. So we appreciate the support. Other tools that we use from them is just another set of sockets which we have here that we use a lot on pretty much everything that I work on here. All right, so I'll end the video here. Updates will soon come as more parts arrive from the company supporting the channel, supporting the build. And again, we appreciate all of the support from not only the sponsors and vendors that support the channel, but also from you guys, and the motivation and the questions that you guys provide me in regards to being able to continue to build and think of new things to put together. Help the channel, help me a lot. So thank you very much for your support and for your patience. So until next episode, until next time, I will say see you in next week. I will say see you next week. So keep an eye for the next video. We should have another video with the next updates, not only on parts, but in regards of the next steps pretty much. So eventually we'll start bringing the GS in here, tearing it apart. Paint and bodywork has already been paid for. I'm just waiting to get all of the information, and not only information, but I'm waiting to get all of the things I need to be able to get the suspension completed, and then the car can go into the bodywork and paint, come back to the garage here, and then I can do all of the engine install, wiring, all of that fun stuff. So that's where we're at. So again, keep an eye, thank you, and I don't know, see you later.